In this episode of Cloud Performance Atlas, I help some VR expert with their disk performance. Does this VR headset make my performance look awesome? Stay tuned to find out. VR Ignition is a company specializing in the processing of content for VR and AR applications. Their product can scale to handle massive point clouds across thousands of CPUs using Google Cloud Platform. And due to the nature of their algorithms, had a large need for local SSDs to handle their out-of-core algorithms. However, they were confused because they weren't getting the type of read performance they were expecting from these high-performance disks. I'll spare you some of the debugging details, but it turned out that the problem was with their disk interface. See, for local SSDs, there's two primary interfaces, SCSI and NVMe. SCSI, of course, we've all seen for years now and is the default for most disk interfaces in our data centers. NVMe, however, is the new kid on the block, designed with modern technologies in mind to provide higher performance. For example, whereas SCSI has one queue for commands, NVMe is designed to have up to 64,000 queues. Moreover, each of those queues can in turn have up to 64,000 commands simultaneously. Now, you can switch what interface your machine uses at creation time by passing along the interface tag to the local SSD param. And to show the performance difference, we can see the two head to head. We clearly see that NVMe has an advantage with respect to read performance and a slight advantage over write performance. But here's the catch. In order to use NVMe, you have to have a disk image that supports it. And this was the thing that was hurting VR Ignition. Firstly, they weren't setting the flag, and secondly, they weren't using a custom image for their builds that didn't have NVMe support. Thankfully, after a decent amount of technical discussion, they were able to move to a public image that was already optimized for NVMe, which let them get the big boost in performance. If you'd like to know more about this topic, check out the article linked in the description below, and don't forget to check out the rest of the Cloud Performance Atlas content, because when it comes to performance, every millisecond counts.